Hey everyone, it's been a really long time since I made a video. I actually probably wouldn't have even popped on yet. It would have probably been more late November, early December when I plan to start making content, but I have to speak up even just briefly for Remembrance Day. It's a day that's very important to me. And also it gives me an opportunity just to say a quick hello and just give you a very brief, and I mean it this time. I know sometimes I say brief and that could still be a 20-minute video, but just a very brief update on a couple of other things I've done that I can send you in the direction of interviews, etc. Even though I haven't been making content here, and just let you know what to expect coming up. But mostly I just wanted to bring attention to today, which is Remembrance Day. I had planned to do this video about 12 hours ago, around noon, which would have been more sort of in time with most of the other memorial kind of posts and events that have gone on, although the events are very minimal this year due to COVID, which is very disappointing, and it's part of what's led to me feeling more melancholy than usual. I always take this day to heart. It always feels a bit heavy, and I've always just felt a connection to Remembrance Day, probably from growing up in Air Cadets and just having these sorts of things really drilled into your head, the importance of it. And I'm grateful for that, so grateful for that, especially as I see a sort of generation that's sort of forgetting. I think we're just so comfortable here. People just really don't realize what we have and how we have what we have and why we are able to maintain this freedom and what that means. So I'm grateful for these days to remember. I keep my poppy in my car year round just to try to remember it more often, instead of just this one day a year. But today, I was feeling a little off because I know that everything is being canceled because of COVID, and just the whole thing is just bothering me. It's not sitting right. It's not settling right. And I really wished that I could help somehow or do something positive for veterans, for the cause. I do support the Legion. I buy from their poppy store, which I highly recommend. If you type in Royal Canadian Legion poppy store, they have all kinds of cool products you can purchase. So I mean, I definitely support them, but you just want that more tangible sense that you're actually doing something. And so a friend of mine, Chris Semchuk, you might know him through Veterans Voice, which is a channel here on YouTube. He's a Canadian veteran, two-time Afghanistan vet, incredible person, really an advocate for PTSD, has a really incredible service dog who I've had the pleasure of meeting. And Chris is just going through some stuff right now because of some policies, poor policy decisions in his sort of local level in Ontario. He's having just a constant amount of break-ins, and it's pretty stressful. And veterans aren't exactly given a fair shake at things. They're always fighting for benefits. And so you can only imagine that this hasn't been a very easy time for him. So I started a fundraiser for Chris, and he just became aware of it today. I let him know about it today being Remembrance Day. I started it a couple days ago, and if you're interested in donating to that, it's so that he can build a security type fence around his property to just help to prevent future break-ins. So if that's something you'd like to do to help a veteran, please feel free, but there's no pressure, of course. I know that times are tight. There's a link in the description below, and that is going really well, and people have been opening their hearts. It's just really nice to see the generosity, but that is a tangible way that you can help a veteran here in Canada today, just with some of their day-to-day struggles. So that's one thing I wanted to let you know about. The other wasn't really to get into too much of a monologue about Remembrance Day. I've done that a lot on this channel. I mean, you can only go on about platitudes of gratitude and thankfulness for sacrifice so much before even the most sincere message will start to be tuned out by people because they've heard it all day. So I'm not going to get into it, but I will say that I hope that everybody had a day of reverence. That's the word that comes to mind, is reverence. Is we don't have a lot of reverence for a lot of things in society right now. This is one of them. And whatever it takes for you to reinstill that passion on a more day-to-day basis, that's what I encourage. This can't just be a day. We've got to start thinking about and reflecting on history and what we're doing more often, and sharing that with others, and sharing that passion and that patriotism. Canadians like to rag on the States, it seems, a lot. And I think one of the things that bothers me when I see that is that there's one thing the States has always had, and now that I've learned about politics, there's a few things, constitution-wise, that I wish we had, but that's a whole different story. One thing I notice is that patriotism, it's pretty intense, or at least it, generally was in the past. And so I'd like to see more of that with Canada, and that includes how we treat our veterans and our military, and how we view our history, and what we're doing going forward, being very cautious and very aware that every step we take leads us in a direction. And I would hope that it's a direction that our forefathers that fought and died would be proud of. So whatever you're doing with your day, make it the best you can do. Live up to the best standards of yourself. Think of what had to happen for you to be in this incredible place, in this situation that you are today, this blessed place, and be your best self from there. And don't ever forget. And if you have to have a visual representation on your wall, on your mirror, in your car, on your coffee maker, whatever it takes, just to take a moment and think about it. So that's my only real message for today. Outside of that, I will let you know that I did have an interview with SHEILA Gunn yesterday, which came out tonight officially on the Rebel site. So if you're a member, you can see it. It's a rather long one. We'd like to chat, her and I. Lovely gal, as always. I think they'll probably put a couple clips maybe out from it on the main YouTube channel over the coming days, and I will see if I'm allowed to mirror a portion of it. We talk about the COVID restrictions in Saskatchewan, the masks, and just sort of how I'm feeling about how things are going in Canada with that. And I would like to get that out because I haven't talked about that during this lockdown. So I will leave a link to the Rebel the full episode, but be aware that you can't watch it unless you are a member, which I do recommend. It's only $9 a month. Independent journalism, they don't get funding, so they do rely on regular folks to fund them. So and they do some good work, some hard work. So that is in the description below. I'm also going to leave a link to an interview I did, must have been almost a month ago now, and I never did advertise it. I'd advertised it on Twitter, not on YouTube, but I did do an interview with an American YouTuber. His name is Scott, and I will leave that in the description below as well. He is someone who's interested in talking to various walk-awayers, so we just talked about my experience leaving the left and kind of what led me to where I am now and how I see things going forward. So if you can check out his channel, give him a follow. He's got some good content. And he also interviewed my friend Gracie West, ex-feminist, who some of you that have been following me for years might know about. So that link is in the description also. And I think those are the only things I need to mention at the moment. Fundraiser, check. Interview with SHEILA, check. Interview with Scott, check. And of course, just a hello. Thank you for your patience. There is content coming out. That's the last thing I want to mention. I am going to still be making content. I don't know if it's going to look a little different, if it's going to be podcast style. There's going to be some shifts. As you know, many of you know, I will be shifting to the New Age spiritual battle side of things, more postmodernism, societal stuff. Less politics, but it will still be politics because it does all flow together, and I will never stop loving politics. I will always be interested, and I will always comment on it. So that will still happen, but it will mostly be about the New Age, and just the content's taking a bit of a shift. So that will all still be happening here. I'm not doing a second channel. It's all going to be under one. There'll be a website, and I also am going to be selling my bracelets, which I'll put some links up to in coming videos. That's it. That's all. Imagine that, a video under 10 minutes. Actually, I can't see the timer right now. I'm just assuming it's under 10 minutes and hoping for everyone's sake that it is. Much love to all of you. Again, thank you for being patient with me. I'll have lots to report on as to what I've been up to and what I've been learning in this time on the bench from making content. God bless you all. And as always, be good to each other, but not because the government tells you to.